What's up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here, and you know who this is. He is the former WWE United States Champion, Tag Team Champion, MLW star, a swath of championship belts sitting right there behind him. The ultimate bro, Matt Riddle. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. You know what's funny? The ultimate bro is actually up for debate as one of my names when I joined WWE. They go, you can't be the king of bros anymore. And how about this? There's super bro, ultimate bro. There's a lot of bros. Eventually I settled on the original bro, OG bro. It's more my style, but now I'm back to my legendary title of the king
The
of
king of bros. You know, it's funny because I usually spend a painful amount of time trying to rehearse an interesting intro, and I just didn't have the bandwidth to do it today. But the one thing I didn't do was want to piss off Vince Russo, because I feel like he'd want to come for your original bro title. So I was like, let me just skirt that
I
one.
will say this, Mr. Russo's definitely like he came before me. I mean, other people claim Zack Ryder's the original bro, but he's more of a woo-woo bro. I'm like the bro, you know. Vince Russo, though, that guy's been doing it since the '90s at a high level, just saying bro and writing creative. So I'll say I'm second to Vince, you know,
All right.
as the original bro.
That's polite, but only one king of bros.
Only one.
Let's start here. What would you say is Matt Riddle's mission statement in MLW? What does Matt Riddle want to accomplish most under this banner?
Well, I think with MLW, I had a relationship with them previous to my career in WWE, and the one thing I was never able to do was attain the MLW Heavyweight Championship. I actually, last time I wrestled for it, I wrestled Shane Strickland, Swerve, in the finals, and he ended up beating me in the finals. He got all the confettis thrown on him. There was confetti. It was a big deal. And I'll be honest, you know, I've wrestled quite a bit. I've only had confetti on me a couple times, and it's an epic moment in time when you earn the right to have confetti thrown on you in the center of a ring in front of a crowd. So I'm really chasing that dream, chasing that dragon, the MLW Heavyweight Championship. And right now, I'm in a perfect spot. I won the battle round, the number one contender, and I believe it's myself versus Kojima, January 11th, MLW, Texas. I believe, I don't know if it's Austin or Dallas. It's one of them, but it's in Texas. And that's the goal. That's the mission statement. I'm winning that heavyweight championship. It took me this long to get back to MLW, and I'm not leaving until I get it.
It's funny you mention the MLW match with Strickland, because I always put out a fan Q&A, and that match specifically came up. So where would you rank Swerve Strickland among the people that you've stepped inside the ring with?
Swerve's one of the best guys I've wrestled probably in my life. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's other guys on that list. Like Roman's really good. Randy's extremely good. Seth Rollins, Sheamus, but Swerve. I'll say this: there's different generations, and Swerve is very talented, and he's of that new generation of top tier wrestlers that not only are strong enough, big enough, but can actually go at a certain clip, you know? So, yeah, Shane Strickland, or not Shane Strickland, yeah, Swerve.
Dude, I can't tell you how many
Yeah,
times, since I cover the UFC as well, how
yeah,
many times I've mixed up Swerve Strickland and Sean Strickland. They are
yeah.
not the same people, bro.
Definitely two different, completely individual. Swerve, I'll just refer to him as Swerve. Swerve's cool. He's good. I can't say enough good things about him for sure. And he was the MLW heavyweight champion, so good for him.
Okay, well, Dallas, January 11th. I look forward to you making good on that dream. You did very recently make an unexpected appearance in TNA, November 29th, teaming with Kushida and Zachary Wentz against the Hardys and Ace Austin. From the reports that were out there, Miguel could not make it last minute. You step up on short notice. Can you sort of just walk me through your POV from the moment you get that call to the moment you're in the ring?
Well, there was no call made. I was actually at the WrestleCade signing autographs, and I was doing pretty well. Making pretty good money. A lot of people lined up to take a picture with the bro. Uh, but then Tommy Dreamer came up, and I think Ariel, the one of the guys that helps run things at TNA. I'm not a big on names kind of guy. I mean, you got a good name, Shakiel, so I remember it. But not
Appreciate you.
everybody has that name. Not everybody's Shaquille or Tommy Dreamer. But they came up to me and they told me that Trey got into not a horrible car accident, but not a great car accident, and he probably wasn't going to be able to make it to the show because of my past with Kushida and NXT and my past with Zachary Wentz in NXT as I was the shaman. It's the shaman that actually replaced Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was the original shaman, but he left and then I replaced it. And then when they asked if I would be willing to do it, because I didn't have to, I'm not under contract with them or anything like that. But I saw a company that was kind of in need, and I saw one of my friends, Zachary Wentz, who was definitely in need. His boy was out, and it just made sense. I've teamed up with them. I've teamed up with Jeff before in the past, and I've never wrestled the Hardy Boys. I've wrestled Jeff by himself, but I've never been in that situation. So, and Ace Austin. So I think it was just, for me, it was, one, I've never done TNA. Want to do that. Two, can't really pass up an opportunity to wrestle the Hardy Boys. And then three, if somebody's hurt or in need and something's not going to work right with the show, I'm more than happy to hop in. Plus, I got an extra payday, so that didn't hurt the weekend. I'm still waiting on that, but they have like a 3-week thing or 2-week thing. I don't know. I kind of like my money up front, you know. But nothing wrong with that.
We'll circle back.
Yeah.
There you go.
They did great. They did great, and there's and yeah. It was just but it was a random thing. I don't have anything planned with them in the future. They do they have spoken to me and they speak highly of me and to me. They're very nice to me. So I mean, I don't think it's impossible, but right now my home's MLW. I'm chilling there. And luckily I work for a company like MLW that wasn't gonna crucify me for, help, and because this is what it was. It wasn't just me trying to do the show or me trying to get cash. It was me trying to help out my friends. So, and I'm glad MLW and all the people there supported me in the decision, and we're going forward. So,
could I get your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling stoners?
pro wrestling stoners. Ooh, okay. Well, I feel Rob Van Dam. He's up there. Am I allowed to?
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Am I allowed to list myself?
Absolutely. Hey, it's your list, bro.
I would say I won't list myself yet, but it's Rob Van Dam. I would say the Godfather.
Oh,
Godfather. He not only did he have the roll up this fatty for this pimp daddy, but he actually is very much involved in the scene, just like I am, and just like Rob is when it comes to cannabis. So right there, we got 3. We got and myself. So we need what, 4? There's 4 on Rushmore.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, you're the American, but I think that's right.
Yeah, I am the American. I mean, your English is really good. I mean, you sound pretty American, dude. Right? But you speak English, dude. Whatever, bro. Let's see. I think this is my thing. I think there's other wrestlers that smoke copious amounts of marijuana, but they have kept it under wraps. So I know of other pro wrestlers that should be on this Mount Rushmore that smoke a lot of cannabis, but I feel like it wouldn't be fair for me to be the ones to out them in the sense, oh, this guy, he burns it down. But
all right.
let's leave it at 3. I don't want to jeopardize anybody.
Okay. Without naming names, not even close, but I'm curious, would you say that you are the pound for pound top smoker in any locker room you step in, or are there some people undercover who are like about that life even more than you?
I'm about that life. I was born in this, dude. I'm just built different, dude. Yeah, no, not like me. No,
Okay.
on the indies. I've run into a couple dudes, but they're also not able to do what I can do in the ring and stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
think, and I'll say Rob, he can burn, but I just feel like I got time on my side. My lungs are still a little more pink. So I feel like I can rip it down a little harder than Rob. I'd have to put. I'm number one, uno mas, right
I'd like
here.
to see a Prime RVD versus Prime Matt Riddle
Well,
going
I'll tell
choke
you
for
this.
choke.
I'll say this. Today's RVD, I think, would push me to my limits. I think, and I will say this: Prime RVD, I think he might have my number. The guy's very flexible, and he definitely probably has flexible lungs too. So.
I love it. Why did the New Japan run end? After a couple of months. I mean, you come in full steam ahead,
Mhm.
Tanahashi title win. I feel like we just kind of scratched the surface there.
Yeah, New Japan was great. Honestly, I was supposed to go over there and do a tour when I first started working with them, but I had a scheduling conflict. I had a match with RBD actually that I
Mm-hmm.
had scheduled, and me being me, there was no way I could miss a match with RBD. So I told New Japan I could come in like the first week of the tour, but then I had to leave the second weekend. I'd be back before like the weekend was over. And they said that wasn't gonna work. And I was like, okay. And then I worked for them in Chicago. I dropped the title to Zack Sabre, and then they wanted me to wrestle again. I think they had one in Sacramento or San Jose. They had one on the beach or near in California again. And because I did one in Cali, I did the one in Chicago, and I did another one in Sapporo, Japan. But when they did the next one for California, I had a booking with MLW. And like I said, MLW kind of comes first. They've been taking care of me. I've worked with them in the past. And ever since I was like, hey, I have a booking that day with MLW, they have not reached out since.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's anything personal. I really fill up my schedule early. I wrestle a lot. I wrestle like 2 or 3 times a weekend usually. And their schedule, they didn't like pencil me in, so they had a lot of times call me or ask me to do a date, and I was already booked.
Booked.
And so I think that was it. Just they have a lot going on. They have a lot of moving pieces. But when you're dealing with somebody like me, or somebody like even like a Mustafa Ali, or
Mm-hmm.
anybody, or a Donovan Dijak, any a guy that's just recently released and can actually go in the ring, we're in demand. Like I wrestle all over the world all the time. You might not be seeing me on TV, but I'm still very busy, you know.
Yes. Were you made privy of any conversations about Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton WWE title WrestleMania 38?
WrestleMania 38 title. Well, we talked about having matches, and us turning on one another. I think their thing was they were trying to figure out a way to turn us on each other without just forcing it or making it
Mm-hmm.
happen. And the fact that we were getting along so well and everything else, and the fans were really into us. Uh, there was one point where you got to realize me and Randy rko-bro was the number one merch seller for a couple months, 3 months, and like our 420 shirt literally outsold like Stone Cold everybody in like one day. Like
Mm-hmm.
that 420 shirt bought my house. Like straight up.
Yeah?
I cleared my
Damn.
bucket. Like it was one of those things. So I think at one point they were just trying to figure out a way to make it the main attraction, that story. But then at the end of the day, when you got guys like Brock Lesnar and others in the locker room, and they weren't feeling it. They weren't having it. And to be fair, this was just brought up, and I wouldn't say it was brought up. I fight for the title against Randy. I think it was more so one of us wins, maybe I win, maybe he wins, but now that makes the other one jealous. And that in
Mm.
turn probably wouldn't win the title, but maybe even if we had a title match, the turn would happen there. So
Mm-hmm.
it'd be because if you just turn on somebody on a random brawl, that's one thing. But when you actually, there's more on the line and you cost a world title or you do something, that would mean much more. So I think that was up for debate for a minute, but it's also WWE. Every week, every day, especially when Vince was there, and there's no, not hating, but every time you were there, the script changed, and sometimes it changed 3 hours before the show, sometimes it changed 10 minutes before the show. So that's just what it is. Even when I lost my title to Sheamus, and don't get me wrong, Sheamus is amazing. But that whole week, I was told I was keeping my title. How are you going to go over? How are you going to do this? And then right beforehand, I mean, like literally the night before, they're like,
Mm.
"Hey, Sheamus is winning," and you're like, "Okay, same match, just do this for the finish." So it is what it is. But yes, regardless of what people think, there was discussion of me possibly winning a Royal Rumble. And you can argue, but hey, who was in the top five of that Royal Rumble?
Mm-hmm.
That's right, dude. You just don't make it to the top five unless they thought about you winning. Like, I mean, granted, Bad Bunny was in there and Shane McMahon was in there, so I don't know. But I'll tell you this: I had a better shot at winning than those two dudes, especially at that time. All right. So,
I
whatever.
agree.
And hey, no
I agree
disrespect to Shane or Bad Bunny. They're all great. Okay.
for sure. As we begin to wrap up here, there was one quote that I saw so much as I was preparing for this interview, and in essence, you said, uh, maybe I am my own worst enemy, but I'm also my best friend. We're all growing, we're all learning in real time. If there's one piece of advice you could have given yourself during your WWE stint, is there anything you would have done differently? Is there any information Matt Riddle today would have passed on to Matt Riddle
Well,
in the last few years?
I am me, so there's only so much my me saying anything would do. I would say this. This is the one thing that I was taught going through NXT. I was taught in the UFC, WWE, and I didn't believe it until like it came back. But it was like it sucks, but you got to kind of like keep your cards close to your chest. You can't be vulnerable, which sucks because one of the coolest things in life is being vulnerable to people you love or trust. And I think when you start having success and you start making money, and people said this, they're like, it changes other people, and people are going to come after you or do this or do that. And I was like, no way, dude. I'm like nice to everybody. I just hang out. Like, why would anybody do that? Well, when you're making millions of dollars and you're on television and maybe old relationships aren't new anymore and you're not with those people anymore, people have a chip on their shoulder. People think you owe them something just because you earned it. And I think in my experience, the one thing I tell myself is like, dude, I know you're gonna hate this, but don't trust everybody. Most people do not have your best interest at hand. Most people are looking out for themselves. And even though you're just being a nice guy and you're not doing anything wrong, in the future, anything can be misconstrued as wrong or altered, or anybody can post anything on a public platform, and people, for some reason, believe it's fact, regardless of police statements or actual time or anything. There's like no proof of anything. I was literally on the internet just earlier and I saw some horrific things written about me, and I'm just like, not one fact, not like nothing. Just a couple people that made some usually ex-girlfriends that are bitter that I'm not talking to them anymore and know I'm on cloud nine making tons of money on TV, and they go, "How can I hurt this guy?" I never thought anybody would be that vengeful or mean or anything like that. I would never do that. I would never do anything like that. But I think at the end of the day, when people get desperate, and I think COVID played a huge part of that as well. People not being able to go out, people being limited, not having access to all the things they had, and then the internet just magnified things and just made things. But I didn't know that going into it. People would always say, "Hey, watch who you talk to and stuff." But I was just having fun and living my life and just riding the wave. Riding the wave of my hard work and success going through WWE and the UFC and everything else. But I think other people thought they should have a chunk of what I had, and that's not how it works. Even if you hang out with me, you don't get my hard work. You get me. So
then let's segue that into a kind of a nice moment between competitors. Do you still have the Xbox 360 that Tim Cruder gifted you after the Ultimate Fighter?
Well, Tim Crater gave me the Xbox 360. He was hesitant about giving it to me, but he gave it to me. And then I don't have it anymore. I got the Three Rings of Death, you know.
Oh,
I play a
well,
lot of video games. I've gone through, I'm on the Xbox Series X now, the PS5. I got a Stallion gaming PC here. I really dabble. So Tim did hook me up. Love that guy. Hey, he lives in Baton Rouge or Louisiana. He teaches jujitsu out there. Shout out to Tim Crater, and he gave me the Xbox, so
love it.
it was good.
All right, I'm gonna finish it on this so we can keep the. I know you got a tight timeline there. I'm already keeping you long, so we can keep these to like one-word answers. I just want to run you through some video game rapid fire since you like me are a big gamer. Okay.
Go for it.
First, what is the game you are playing most right now?
Right now, it had to be Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies.
All right. Yeah, you do like your survival horror. What is the scariest game that you've ever played?
Scariest game I've ever played. Oh man, I would have to say Dead Space.
Mm.
Dead Space is probably the best horror game in my personal opinion, and scariest jump scares and just different mechanics. It's good.
Best couch co-op game.
Wizards of Legend. If you've never
Oh,
played Wizards of Legend, it's insane. It's amazing. Me and my buddy Stallion Rogers play it all the time. Wizards of Legend 2 just came out, but it's only in beta and it's only on the PC right now, but we're waiting for it to hit consoles and open up the multiplayer. So I'm stoked.
Matt Riddle's a chill guy. What game makes you rage the most?
I would have to say, back in the day, it was FIFA. You'd be playing FIFA in college, and some
Absolutely.
dude that only had one shot on goal would score, and you had 20 and you didn't.
Mm.
Furious. But right now, I'll be honest, it's the Call of Duty Zombies because I will do everything right, be on like level 20 or so. I'm about to fight the end boss, and then something happens. I get stuck in a corner on a rock, and I'm just like, you would think with the technology. But yeah, so that right now that's the one that really grinds my
My
gears.
gears. All right.
Oh.
Matt, I gotta let you go. I want to let you have the last word. So very quickly, guys, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe, tap the bell, thumbs up ahead of your pursuit to capture the MLW World Championship. Dallas, Texas, January 11th. If there's anything you want to tell the people, Matt, I'll let you have the last word, bro.
I do. Thank you, Shakiel, Matthew Riddle, the King of Bros. And if you're looking to get more King of Bro content or me, Matthew Riddle, check out my Instagram at Riddle Bro, and then on Twitter at the Super King of Bros. And I do Twitch and everything else too. And but that's about it. And check me out, MLW on YouTube and fighting, like you said, January 11th against Kojima for the MLW Heavyweight Championship. And Shaquille, thanks for having me, bro. That's all I got.